My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth. As part of the Secret Recordings Network, we have brand new episodes every other week, every fortnight. Nickie will be sharing some Disney World stories and magic with us on this episode. We have an update from Disney World with a lot of things that will be closing, including a huge attraction at Magic Kingdom. More on that later, and some tips if you're going to be off to Disney over the next few weeks. And we have a question on the podcast from Carly. Quick one, Andy. Where can you get the grey stuff at Disney World? The only place you'll be able to get it is Magic Kingdom. Head over to Fantasyland. Either make a reservation for Be Our Guest, which is only open for lunch and dinner now, and it's the same menu. It's the set menu for lunch and dinner at Be Our Guest, which costs $70 for adults and $41 for kids for 3 courses. The third course is the dessert. You get 3 little desserts, one of which is a little chocolate tart, which I do believe has the grey stuff in it. Or you can go over to Gaston's Tavern where you can get a grey stuff cupcake. However, go for the cinnamon roll. It's much better. The grey stuff, is it delicious? Well, I'll leave that up to you. Any questions? At Pod Magical is where we are. Let's say hello to our podcast guest for this episode. Hello, Nickie.
Hello, Andy.
Tell me, why do you love Walt Disney World, Nickie?
Well, I think when I describe it to people, lots of people, you see them online say, I'm going home. And I think that's that feeling, isn't it? Like that warm feeling inside, like a big hug. When you're in Disney, you just feel totally complete. You're with your favourite people, your loved ones. It's total escapism, just totally immersed in that bubble of fun. And I just don't think there's anything better. So it's everything really, isn't it? Big lover of the merch and the snacks, obviously, and the rides. But particularly the snacks. We do like a snack in my family. So, yeah, it's all of that, really. It's a fabulous experience, which is why we all keep going back and spending loads of money.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about your favourite snacks and places to eat and everything in a moment. But I want to know, because you sent me a message to say, Andy, we've just come back from Walt Disney World and it was the greatest trip ever. Now, you've been going since you were 8 years old, you say?
Yeah, 8 or 9. I was talking to my mum about it yesterday because I think the first time I went, it was like 1988, 99. Mum was going to go look in the scrapbook, but I did go with my mum and dad and my 2 nans at the time, and it was our first experience of going overseas transatlantic to America. And I just got this really vivid memory of walking up to the monorail wearing those glorious bright yellow ponchos. And in fact, I've still got that poncho and it's not my first poncho. I've got many more since.
Surely you can't still keep using the same poncho, because with me, as soon as I used to sit down in it, the neck would rip.
Yeah, no, I've still got it in the bag and everything. And I took it this time to use and I fully intended to wear it. But, when you go out being really cocky and think, oh, it'll be fine. It won't be that bad, the rain. And then it's really bad. And so you end up having to go into one of the shops and go, I need 4 ponchos.
It's funny where those ponchos come from, because you go in the shop normally, there's no ponchos around. Suddenly there's a spot of rain. Every shop, every counter, suddenly all the ponchos are out. It's like it's a magic display of ponchos that come from nowhere.
I know. We got ours this time from, I think it was Germany in Epcot, and the poor guy had literally just stacked up a pile this big. They must have thought, it's going to be bad, we're going to be busy.
So what was so good about this trip then?
So this has been my dream ever since my kids were born, because I've been to Florida a number of times with my family. And then since my kids have been little, I've been taking them to Paris every year pretty much. And I've done cruises with my best friend and our kids. It's a bit of a thing, actually, me and my best friend used to do with the kids when they were younger. We used to go with our mum. So my kids have been brought up on Disney. They know I'm Disney crazy. And so they, bless them, have had to go with it. But I've been waiting for them really to be at the right age to be tall enough and want to go on the ride, so we could really get the most out of it. And so it was just brilliant because they were so both up for everything. My little 8-year-old daughter went on every single roller coaster that she was tall enough to go on, and that was pretty much all of it, apart from some of the big rides at one of the non-Disney parks. It was just we just had so much fun. We stayed in a Caribbean beach, which we absolutely loved. Just every day we just had some like great experiences. We did the dessert party at Magic Kingdom. My daughter and I did a sort of bucket list of mine, which was to go to the Not So Scary Halloween party, because we're big Halloweeners in my family. I do a big Halloween party every year for all my neighbours and my family, and it's something I'd always wanted to do in Florida. I've been to Halloween in Paris and dressed up and done all of those things, but that was brilliant. That just was, and we managed to meet Jack and Sally, which was, we were so prepared on that. Everyone said get there just before they start giving everybody their bracelets, and then get down to sort of town square. It's when you go in, isn't it, on the right there, that you can meet them where Mickey is. The queue wait was predicting something like 160 minutes, but actually we were in an hour. It was just so worth it. It was brilliant, and we got a great photo. Did
you do that just before the party started? Because the party starts at 7, but I think they opened the queue lines for it before that. So what time did you get in line to meet them? Because sometimes they start meeting early, don't they, if you've got the wristband?
Yeah, it might be. We got into the park before everybody had to leave, and then as soon as they started getting the wristbands out, we got down there and got in the queue. I can't remember. I feel like it was 4 o'clock, but it could have been later. But it definitely wasn't 7 o'clock. It was earlier than that, so it might have been about 5, something like that. But yeah, we got down there and there was quite a queue, but it wasn't as long as they had predicted. Because I think sometimes I got the feeling that they might add a bit to the rides to maybe deter people to go and do other things and the queues, but I don't know, maybe that's a bit of part of sort of crowd control strategy. But yeah, it's always a pleasant surprise if you're not waiting that long.
And how much candy and chocolate and sweets did you bring back with you?
We did pretty well. We were really unfortunate. We had one of those really awful events where the rain was terrible, so I think we managed to get like a couple of hours in before it really poured down, and then some of the parades didn't happen, but they did do a shortened version of the Hocus Pocus Sanderson sisters bit, but we didn't see Jack, which was a bit disappointing, and we didn't see the Headless Horseman, but it didn't ruin the night for us. We got plenty of candy. We got 2 big 2 bagfuls of the bags they give you, and we took a tip to take a rucksack and managed to pull those in there. And we got plenty of candy. We got our photos with Jack and Sally, which was brilliant, and we stayed to watch. They did do the fireworks, and we did see that shortened show, and just to see the Sanderson sisters come out, that literally put hairs on the back of my neck, because it was so brilliant to hear them singing. And so but at that point my poor daughter was like, I'm so tired and wet.
It's time to go. Did you, because you say you're a fan of Halloween, did you venture over to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal?
I really wanted to do that, and we did stay there the first night that opened, so I was a bit like, well, are we gonna like struggle with crowds? But we were staying at one of the hotels where you get the express passes, so we did pretty well, in terms of getting onto the rides quickly. But I was worried, to be honest with you, that it might be a little bit too scary for my kids, because the Mickey's one isn't really scary. It's good theming, and it's a fun family event. I think the Horror Nights can be a bit quite frightening, and so I thought maybe when they're a bit older,
well, it's terrifying for me, and I'm a grown man. So how old are the kids again?
My daughter is nearly 9 and my son is 13, and my son absolutely hates anything like that. He wouldn't even meet Blue the dinosaur, because he really hates people in dressed up stuff that's freaky like that. And he's a Tower of Terror refuser, which pains me, because me and my daughter love it, but he's like, no, I'm not doing it.
Fair play. There's something for everybody at Disney World. That's the main thing. And you did the dessert party for the fireworks for Happily Ever After. How was that?
Yeah, we did the pre-party. I did a bit of research on which one was best to do pre or post. And I suppose I was thinking, God, 2 kids with sugar after the fireworks might not be great. But generally everybody's so tired, it doesn't matter. But we did do it was brilliant. The desserts were great. My daughter dressed up in a princess dress, which might be the last time I get her to do that on a Disney trip, but she wanted to. So, and it was really good to have that access area where, you're going to get a good space and be able to sit down. I think if we were to do it again, and we would do it again, I felt it was worth the money, and we really enjoyed it, felt special. I probably would do the post party, because I think if you get there earlier, you can get a slightly better spot, and then you don't have to rush your food and worry about,
that's what I always say.
Getting there earlier. Yeah, so I think that we would probably do the post party, and when we go back, I think we'll book to do it again, because we all really enjoyed it, and the cookies that you could make, my daughter loved that.
Did you get a good view though? Still, even though, because you were having your dessert, the other people were in waiting for the fireworks. So what, you were in like 10 minutes before the fireworks, something like that?
Yeah, we got there about 15 minutes before, and it was still pretty good, to be honest. We were quite near the front. We could all see it. Yeah, we didn't have any obstruction of views. It wasn't overcrowded. It didn't feel overcrowded. It didn't feel unpleasant.
Right.
And there was a cast member doing some quizzes as well, which was really good fun. So yeah, it was a good spot.
So all in all, a very successful trip.
It was brilliant. Hotel was amazing, and just, the whole experience, everything went the way we hoped it would. And people say to me now, how good was it? And I said, well, I knew it was going to be brilliant, but it was even better than that.
If you had to, I'm going to ask you this anyway, if you had to have a favourite memory from this trip or any previous trips over the years, what would you say was your one standout memory?
Oh my God, it's so hard to choose one. Am I only allowed one?
No, well, you can have more than one.
Two.
Yeah, you can two. Yeah, you can have two. Two's fine.
So one from this trip is when we went to Fantasmic. It is my favourite show in Florida. I literally love it. I know it's controversial because many people would say Happily Ever After, which I do love, but Fantasmic, nothing beats that opening music as the water parts and there's Mickey just stood there. It's just such an amazing feeling, and the hairs go up on the back of your neck. But there was a moment during that show where they sing Elsa, Show Yourself, which is just a song that means a lot to me. And my little son put his arm around me because he could see I had tears in my eyes, and he said, "Are you all right, Mum?" And it's just that look, because normally, boys being boys, they're quite tough. But it was just a very tactile, lovely moment where I was like, he knew. The music came on, he knew.
He knew.
So that was pretty special from this trip. But last year, my best friend Alex and I took our two little ones, her son Huxley and my daughter Faith, to Paris. And we stayed in the New York Marvel Hotel, which is just fantastic. And they both love a bit of fancy dress, but they wanted to go as Ant-Man and the Wasp. And at the Marvel Hotel, they've got the superhero station, which you've probably heard about before, but you can only go and meet the superheroes in there if you're staying in the hotel. So we got in the queue, and the cast member, he was French, he was wonderful, and he came up to us and he said, "Oh my God, your outfits are amazing. We get so many little Spider-Mans and Iron Mans and all of this." He said, "But I've never seen an Ant-Man and a Wasp together." He said, "Wait here, I'm going to come back." So he made us sort of sit in this area. Anyway, he came out, he said, "Right, I'm ready for you now." So he took us in, and there in the superhero station, he'd got Ant-Man to meet our kids.
Wow.
And you don't see him very often because he's often near Pym. So, he was lovely. And he came over to our kids and he said, "You two look so good. Why don't you do my job and I'll take your mums out to dinner?" And we said, "Yes, please. Let's do the spot."
What a win. Did that happen, though, or was that just a story?
Sadly, no. I think there's probably health and safety and all sorts of issues. No.
Oh, well, never mind. Next time you go, that dinner, I haven't forgotten.
It was lovely. And then later that evening when we got back to our room, he'd posted 2 postcards under our door for them that said, "I was so thrilled to meet you and, keep being awesome." And they've kept them. It's really cute.
With our guest in just a moment, some dates for your diary and some Disney World news for you right now. So early this week, the Jungle Cruise reopened after a little refurb, and we now know that the Jingle Cruise, The festive version will be reopening at Magic Kingdom Park on the 2nd of November. If you want some festive fun on the Jingle Cruise, there is more Christmas news as well. Let's go to Epcot first of all, because the celebrity narrators for this year's Candlelight Processional have been announced. Starts on the 29th of November with Josh Gad, Olaf, Whoopi Goldberg, Brendan Fraser, Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid films, and Gloria Estefan and Jodie Benson will all be narrating the nativity story throughout the holiday season at Epcot. More of the Epcot Festival of Holiday favourites return as well, including Joyful in the new location at the new Communicore Plaza, is where you can see Joyful. They're brilliant, by the way. When I've been for Christmas, I think they have been my highlight of all the holiday activities. Over at Animal Kingdom, there will be returning favourites. The Merry Menagerie will be back. Santa will be dropping into Restaurantosaurus from the 12th of November through till Christmas Eve. And then over at Hollywood Studios, obviously we've got Jollywood Nights, which is an extra price ticket. But from the 12th of November at Hollywood Studios, there's some more entertainment being added, including Juggling Elves. There's the Holiday Spirit Band, which is a brass band playing some Christmas favourites, and also Seasons Jukebox, which is another marching band bringing some holiday favourites to the Hollywood Studios. So there's a lot of Christmassy things that have been announced this week. Something else that's been announced just a few days ago. Now, this has set the internet on fire. Disney have announced the all-new Lightning Lane Premier Pass. This is happening at Disneyland Resort in California and also Walt Disney World. From October the 30th, the Lightning Lane Premier Pass comes to each of the parks. So it will give you Lightning Lane entrance to each one of the attractions at any time during the day. You need to be staying either at a DVC or a deluxe resort to purchase this. You can purchase it a week before you go. However, you will only be able to buy it for one park. You can't park hop with it. From Magic Kingdom, the prices from the 30th of October look to be around $329. The prices for all four parks varies between $129 and $429 per person, per day, plus tax. Remember, that's per park. And you can't park up with that. That is really pushing the dollar to the limit. I mean, are you going to pay a few $100s to do Lightning? Remember, this isn't unlimited Lightning Lanes. You get to go on each attraction once. So let's say you buy it for Hollywood Studios. You're only getting on Slinky Dog once and Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. It'll get you into Muppets. It'll get you up to Star Tours. But, I mean, for a few $100s, is it worth it? Well, we'll see how that goes when it starts 30th of October. If you are waiting for the brand new Little Mermaid show at Hollywood Studios, which they said was going to be open in the fall of this year. Well, it's the fall of this year now, and not for much longer. It looks like it's been moved a little bit to summer 2025. They're working on the show building and the show itself. Meanwhile, over at Magic Kingdom, we have a big date for your diary because Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is going to be closing for at least a year. The last day to ride Big Thunder will be the 5th of January. It then closes for an extended refurb from the 6th of January next year. Not expected to reopen until 2026 with new enhancements. And work will be starting in January over at Animal Kingdom. We know that a lot is going to be happening over at Dino Land USA to make way for Tropical Americas. We know that Triceratops Spin, some of the fossil games, the Chester and Hester's Treasure Hunt will be closing on the 12th of January. No word yet on Dinosaur and Restaurantosaurus and a few other things, but Triceratops Spin, that'll be the first to go, and then Walls will come up. So basically, after New Year, a lot of things are going to be happening construction-wise over at Walt Disney World. Keep up to date with all the news at greatesthitsradio.co.uk. And also, one final thing, question for you. How much would you pay for a slice of cake? We now know the prices of some of the cakes at the Cake Bake Shop. They have taken years to build this over at Boardwalk. It does look fabulous, and I am told the food there is incredible. They've got other branches around America. But some of the prices, $8 for a Coke, $22 for cinnamon roll cake, $26 for a slice of chocolate cake, plus tax and tip. Will you be going there? Let me know at Pod Magical. We are back with Nicola on the podcast. I'm going to give you your perfect Disney World day soon. You can talk us through. But first of all, let's find out some of your favourite things at Disney World. Favourite places to stay, resort, hotel. What's your favourite?
Well, we definitely would stay on property. I've stayed in villas before when I was a kid, which was great because we stayed there slightly longer. But actually, our recent experience at Caribbean Beach was brilliant. I've seen lots of people talk about, there could be a long walk. It didn't matter for me. That place was beautiful. I ran around the lake every morning. I didn't mind the walk. I understand with mobility, it's probably an issue for some people, but it is such a nice walk to take in. So take your time is what I'd say. The Skyliner was just an added bonus of staying there. And I think we as a family have just said that particular area with the Skyliner, being near Epcot and Hollywood Studios is the area we would choose because you're 10 minutes from most places.
Yeah.
We stayed in Martinique and the bus stopped right outside our sort of area. We were 10 minutes to Disney Springs, probably not much longer to the Magic Kingdom. And we never had issues with the bus and it being too crowded. So yeah, there's some real benefits of staying on site, and the magic or the early entry, if you're really tactical about how you plan your virtual queues, which ones you get in line for first and get to fairly swiftly, you can do quite a lot in that half an hour.
You certainly can.
So I think those things really make it worthwhile, but also you're just permanently in that amazing bubble. And everybody's so lovely. We got into pin trading, which my little daughter is just so into, and we've had some of the best conversations with cast members about pins, that the stories that come out over pins, it's amazing.
And did you use the dining plan on this? Did you add that, or did you use the new Lightning Lane system?
We used, so I booked with Virgin and we actually got $100 a day towards food or merchandise in a sort of, they give you a gift card.
Yeah.
So we used that, which was really good. It really, really did help. So they didn't have the dining plan when I booked. It's only just come back, but I have got it for next year.
Right.
And I did use the multi-pass and the Lightning Lane. And I probably was a bit sneakily in one of the Facebook groups. I did try the workaround and I did manage to book my multipass and Lightning Lanes the 7 days before we got there. So I planned a day in each park apart from Animal Kingdom to have a multipass. And then I'd got Lightning Lanes for things like Guardians, Rise of the Resistance and Tron. And so, I got really lucky and I got good times because I did it 7 days before. Yeah. So, at Magic Kingdom, my first ride was 9 o'clock. So, we were able to get in, do a rope drop and then get to that ride at 9.
Yeah,
so,
or before 10.
We were able to sort of front load those 3 rides quite early on in the day. So, yeah, it definitely is worth, I think, doing it if you want. If you're there for a short amount of time, it's worth the money. I would always save a bit of money to do it.
How then did you manage to book these when you were in the UK? People are going to know now. What was the technique? What was the little turnaround? How do you do it?
Yeah, so it was on one of the Facebook groups when it first came out, and obviously people are very motivated to find a way to break the system. Yeah. So basically, I used an iPhone with my Disney Experience app, and I turned off my location services. And where your booking is on the My Disney Experience, if you go in and change your address from the UK to America, it thinks you're in America. Okay. So that's how I was able to get access to it. That's what most people have done if they've tried that. It has worked for some, not everyone, but I know other people who've done it as well. So yeah, it was turn off your location services on your iPhone and change your address to US.
Did you have to use a VPN?
No.
All right.
In fact, I used the VPN to book things like the dessert party and Mickey's Not So Scary and some of those events. And I downloaded something called Tunnel Bear, which was really good. But when I tried to turn that on when I was doing the multipass, it didn't like it. So I turned it off. And it worked fine.
It still worked.
It is a bit glitchy. At some points you think, I haven't booked those because it will say it's not going through or it's not processed your payment. So what I did do then was to get the payment through, turn the VPN and then turn it off again and then it booked. That did help.
It's so, like, you've got to jump through hoops to do things, haven't you? It's like, don't you want my money? I'm trying to spend money here and it's making it difficult. When you put an address in, an American address, how did you find an address? What did you use?
I didn't. I just put my UK address, but where it says what country you're based in, rather than put United Kingdom, I just changed that to America, United States. Yeah.
Simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it did work, but it is glitchy. It's not straightforward. And I do remember that to get the payment through, I had to keep turning the VPN on and off. But to get into the system, to get the lightning lanes booked, I didn't have to have it on. It was just at that payment part where it was a bit glitchy.
Yeah. And you said you're a family of snackers. You love the snacks. Let's talk about food, Nickie. So let's talk about restaurants first. Particular favourite restaurants? Where you going? What you eating?
Well, we love Animal Kingdom at Rainforest Cafe at Animal Kingdom. It's just such a good restaurant. Like the whole theatrics of the thunderstorms and the animals coming to life. And one thing that happened at this restaurant that I've not seen before is when they bring out the volcano dessert and they all start saying volcano and it comes out. So of course we were like, we've got to have a volcano.
Yeah.
So I said to everybody, save room because it looks really rich because it's obviously brownies and ice cream and sauce. It was so delicious. And just to have the volcano experience was definitely a ticked box. We like it. We like it there. We had an amazing evening at Disney Springs at Planet Hollywood. If you go Planet Hollywood, my son, his big recommendation is the mac and cheese burger. He said it was the best thing he's ever tasted.
Wow.
And whilst we were eating, we obviously got to participate in the karaoke as well, which we had such fun doing that. So it was a good night. And if you want a good burger, I don't think you can be disappointed going to a Planet Hollywood.
Mac and cheese burger. I mean, can you get anything more American than mac and cheese burger? Really?
Mac and cheese with everything.
Yeah.
But fortunately, my kids love it. So it went down a treat.
Yeah. And what about snacks? What are your favourite Disney snacks?
So the cheeseburger spring rolls. Oh, God. Every time I went to Magic Kingdom, we had to go to that cart first for my son.
Love them.
But also we tried the creme brulee croissant, at Gaston's.
Is this new? This has been new over the last month or two.
Yeah, it's we've got two snacks there. We bought the cinnamon bun, which everybody raves about, which is like one between four of us was enough.
Yeah.
And then I saw that creme brulee croissant. I said, we've got to get that. And everybody said, hands down, that was really good. But it's really rich. So I think it's a sharer.
Right.
We really love that. And we all love a corn dog because you don't get them everywhere in this country. No. And we got some really good ones in Vineland's outlet, actually, in the food hall there, that from the Korean stall, which was amazing. But in Magic Kingdom at Casey's Corner, they do the corn dog nuggets, which are brilliant. They're really good.
Do you know what? I've never had a corn dog. Of all the times I've been, never. I know. I feel like I should, but I think Disneyland, California, that's really hot on for corn dogs, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, people go crazy for corn dogs over there. Anything that they've got rid of over the years? You've been going since you were 8. Anything you wish they got? Oh, I used to love that.
Yeah.
Or I would have loved that for my kids to see.
Well, yeah, and it's coming back. The parades in the evening.
Yes, at last.
Yes,
next year. Yes.
Yeah. So very excited about that. I do really remember that with my family when I was a kid, waiting in the rain for the parade to come and then, watching it all come through all the lights. And it took my breath away when I was a kid. So I think it would be so nice to experience that with the kids next year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Missed that.
And you're already going back next year. You've already booked it?
I booked it like the weekend after we got back. I was like, this is not good. And so I was looking and I saw I think I've got fairly good deals. So yeah, we're going back a similar time. But this year we did 2 weeks because we did a split stay. We did 11 nights at Caribbean Beach and then we stayed at Universal for 3 nights. Yeah. But this time we're just doing 11 nights. But we've decided to go to the yacht club so we get the extended hours in the evening and the dining plan.
Yes. Oh, wow. And you can just wander into Epcot at the yacht club.
I know.
Brilliant.
Oh, no. And get a boat. How exciting.
Yeah, and you can also walk to Hollywood Studios as well. A lot of Americans will say that's too far to walk, but for a Brit, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can walk into 2 parks. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I like a run, so I shall probably do that in the morning before everybody gets up. It's really lovely to run over there in the warmth before it gets too hot.
Yeah, you've got the lagoon there, so you can, all around the boardwalk around there. So where were you running when you stayed at Caribbean Beach? Were you just running around? Again, you've got quite a big area there in front of Riviera, and you can go all the way around, can't you?
Yeah, I did a few laps. It's quite funny because for the few weeks for the 11 days I was there, I saw the same people out running most mornings, and we'd all keep lapping each other many times because you're doing loops. But yeah, just ran around there really. But it was lovely. It's sort of flat, it's flat, it's beautiful, you know, lake, and it was really nice.
Because I think every resort has got an actual, well, not necessarily running track, but they've got little maps, haven't they, of where you can run to do a good loop.
Yeah, and there's pretty much paths everywhere.
Yeah.
You can get to most places. So yeah, it was convenient if you like a run around Caribbean Beach because you can do all sorts of loops and routes.
And you can afford yourself an extra corn dog as well. The more you run, the more mini corn dogs you can.
That's the why I do it.
Yeah, of course, that's the way to go. So here is your ideal Disney day. You've got 24 hours at Disney World. As I say, not your only 24 hours at Disney World, but you're on holiday and go, right, we're going to have our perfect day today. Where are you staying? Where are you eating? Where are you going? What rides are you doing?
So I would wake up in the Grand Floridian and open the curtains and see the view of the castle because that is a glorious place. And then I'd get the boat to Polynesian and go to Ohana's for breakfast. We did that this year and it's brilliant, just so magical. So I love that. I want to do it again. And then I think I'd head over to Magic Kingdom and do a walk down Main Street, stop at the bakery and get a giant Mickey cookie with the dipped chocolate ears because we love those. And then just wander around and take in the ambience, probably ride Tron, possibly Jungle Cruise because we love that one. And I don't think I'd be allowed to leave without getting my son a cheeseburger spring roll. So I'd have to do that. And then I would probably get on, you'd have to go to the transport station and get on the monorail to Epcot because I've got to do Guardians. That's like an absolute must. So I do Guardians, and then when I've done Guardians, got to go get a Viking coffee from Norway, and hopefully by this time with Bailey's because it'll be late enough in the day. And then wander around the showcase and probably stop at France, go to the bakery and get something from there, and maybe a fizz mimosa. They do those there, don't they? So probably get something there and then head on the Skyliner and probably head to Hollywood Studios and spend the evening there, do some rides, Rock and Roller. We love Rock and Roller, Tower of Terror. And then probably I'd have to end my evening with Fantasmic because it's just the best show and I love it. So I think I'd end with Fantasmic. And then I don't know how it'll be too late now. Most things will be closed, won't they?
Yeah, sorry. You've reached the end of the day. Back to bed.
I know. I think I'll be back to bed and pretty knackered and full.
It sounds like it, yeah. Up early for a run the following morning. What is your favourite attraction? I've not asked you what your favourite attraction is.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians.
Absolutely loved it.
What was it before Guardians? Because that's what I still class Guardians as a new attraction, even though it's a couple of years old now.
Well, it's always been Rock and Roller. We love a real, as my daughter would call it, a loop-de-loop roller coaster, mummy. So we love that ride, and I always loved it in Paris. Me and my best friend, when we took our kids when they were little, there was one time, and they were probably too small to go on it. We had them sat on a bench outside with our phones, and we went, "We're just going to go on this ride." And we went on it, and we came back, and they were still sat there, and we said, "We're going to ride it again." So yeah, they remember that as well, but. Yeah, obviously it's not there anymore. It's changed to another ride. So, but yeah, Rock and Roller is a firm favourite.
Well, you can ride it again next year because you've already got the holiday booked, which is what I like.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get over the Disney blues. And, of course, coming on the podcast to talk about it. And I always appreciate that.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Thank you for letting me come on to talk about my favourite topic.
No worries, anytime. And Nickie, have a magical day.
I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. Thank you.
If you'd like to join me on the podcast, always looking for guests at Pod Magical. Just drop me a message and we'll sort out a time to get you on. If you're going to be going soon, not a bad time to go. Crowd levels look pretty reasonable during the week, especially. They're not too bad at all. Busy then at weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Remember, you have got the Food and Wine Festival on at Epcot, including the Eat to the Beat concert series. David Archuleta this weekend from American Idol. Billy Ocean from the 20th and 21st of October. Hanson, 25th, 26th, 27th and 28th. They have their own beer, hops. Also, you got Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We've got Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal. Do check your diary, though, for the running events. It is the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend at the end of October. So Halloween on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there will be more people that weekend. Firstly, because it's Halloween, and that is when people want to be there and enjoy the Halloween party. But also, part of the Food and Wine Festival, you've got the Food and Wine Marathon weekend. That is the Halloween weekend. Anything else? We'll keep you updated on the podcast at Pod Magical. Temperatures not too bad, looking around 27, 28. No big hurricanes forecast at the moment, touch wood. And here is a top tip. We always end the podcast with a top tip for you. How about stuff that's going on in your hotel? If you are staying at a Walt Disney World resort, you're paying a bit extra. You're paying a bit extra for the accommodation, the handiness of being on site. You're paying extra to get in the parks half an hour early, but also you're paying extra there for the recreation activities. So much more goes on in the hotels and resorts than you probably know. It's not just about being there for somewhere to sleep and maybe going in the pool. Check out s'mores making. They'll make s'mores and campfires, and they'll show films as well. They'll have exercise classes. They'll sometimes have fun dance classes with characters. So just ask. There's scavenger hunts. There is so much more going on at Disney hotels than you probably know about. So when you check in, just ask for a guide of what's going on. Maybe there's a few things you could do. You could have a resort day or half a resort day, make it a bit of a lazy day, a bit of a chilled day. There is lots going on at your Walt Disney World resort. You're paying for it. Don't miss out on it. We'll have a brand new podcast in a couple of weeks' time, so make sure you've subscribed. You can download previous episodes. If you hit that subscribe button, they'll be there. And until then, please stand clear of the doors.